There was definitely times upon doing this where it would have been easier to go to ads. It would have been easier to put it in front of as many eyeballs as possible. That was not how this was going to go. My name is Stacey Sargison and welcome to my world record. One of the things that I realised about the values in which a person holds within yourself is, what are you willing to do for that? It's a choice, and people don't like it when I say that. It is a choice. I chose to be a success. I didn't wait to be a success and then, do you see what I mean? Like, I chose to do a world record. I chose to be the best in what I'm doing. It's not an accident. And I think a lot of people think that, well, I'll just buy a lottery ticket. You are the lottery ticket. I've never been to Rome before. I knew I needed to be here. I knew there was going to be things that would change me, and it has. And walking to Capitol Hill, to see the ruins, to see just such beauty and extreme excellence, and what it looks like, whether it be the Colosseum, whether it looks like all the temples that still remain. That's what true visionaries believe in. We believe when we do something, it's going to last. That's what excellence is. I also realized this is the first time, where anyone had ever thought of representing us. And I was leading it. So one of the biggest role models in my life is my mum. My mum, back in the day, would have 3 jobs, and I remember watching her do her makeup even though she was tired and put on that brave face. From a young age, she's always instilled that not to be afraid of hard work. When there's a will, there's a way, but that is her mantra. And so growing up, seeing her put on makeup, waking up really tired, but not once taking it out on us. My dad taught me a lot about work ethics. When I say I want my name and my mission to be a legacy, I mean that. That's not just some nice thing to say because I'm a business owner and it's fashionable. It's the least I can do to honour my parents. One of the things that I took from my childhood was to not take no for an answer. If it's no, it's just not yet. And so when I used to apply for jobs and roles, I really didn't look at, well, do I have the qualifications or not? Do I want that? One of the pivotal parts of my career was getting a job at Universal Pictures in London, in the Hollywood film industry. I was obsessed with movies, always have been. And I remember sitting at the interview, a girl from Northampton woke up at Sparrowfart to get the train. And it was very much like Devil Wears Prada in that moment, where I could see all these beautiful people, and it was just incredible. Movies. Reception had one of the newest films playing at the trailer that no one had ever seen before. And there was this elusive air of power and success that I had never really experienced before. So I realized whilst I was sat there that I had got myself in reception, so if I can get myself into the reception, I can get myself into this job. I really relaxed into the interview, and I said to myself, I'm going to be who I am, who I really am, and I'm not going to stress about how to present myself in this interview, because I want the essence of who I am to be yes or no within their culture. It sounds so strange, but I asked for a Diet Coke, and they looked as if to say, it's only like 8:30, why are you having a Diet Coke? And it was at that point they said to me, it was because you didn't care. You're like, yes, I would like a Diet Coke. I want what I want. They called the recruit agency and then they called me and said, you just got it. I wasn't qualified at the time to their level, but I showed that true conviction of, but I will work hard, I can do it, and I'm also a team player. So I worked in the Hollywood film industry, met famous people, and it was at a point when where I had 2 cancer scares in the space of 4 weeks. And it was at that point where I realized my priorities were upside down, because my priorities to the climb to the top in the industry forewent the necessity to go for checkups. And so I was putting off those appointments because I didn't want to let down or seem weak. It just made me realize my health wasn't a priority. And it wasn't really until Christmas, when everyone had left and I was at my desk and my boss at the time said, you really need to do this report. But everyone was going downstairs for drinks. I wasn't really invited. I'd promised my mum that day, we have a tradition of decorating the Christmas tree together. And I remember Mum calling me saying, where are you? It was 10:30 at night. And it was at that point I realized I'd forgotten a tradition, and that was it. I was like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I promised myself never again would I allow work to come between my family and I. I remember Mum saying, you know that if they wanted to fire you, they could at any point. But Christmases with families are important. After I'd made that decision that something had to change, I then looked online. I remember typing in, when to know how to quit your job, which in itself is a sign. That's when I discovered online businesses. So I started to invest in how to make that happen, how could I? And it was scary to invest, but I realized that what's the end goal here? Never to work for anybody else again, only ever to work for myself. So I was willing to do whatever it took to make that a reality. So I invested in coaching programs, business programs, all of those different things for mindset, everything. I was like a sponge. I was just different ways of thinking. And so then that's when my business was created. I started doing live videos. They were being seen by hundreds of thousands of people. And I really realized, wow, I'm not alone in this. There are other people that are feeling what I'm feeling and sharing. And it was helping, and still to this day, helping women live the life that they truly want, beyond a fancy hashtag or post. It was really inherent of, how do you want your life to be? It's time to now create that. You can have a life that you love, but is it inherently deeply aligned with your values? You might have the money, but is it costing you family time? So that was it. As soon as one client said yes, another came through, and it got to a point when I was traveling around the world every week, hosting intensive days for women that was very personal. At that point, I got married, had the dream wedding, all of those things. The marriage started to disintegrate, and I remember being at my mum's, broke down. That then leaded to being by myself and having dark thoughts. When I did move into an apartment on an air mattress, thinking, I'm in my mid-30s, what an utter fucking failure. That did not go how I thought. That wasn't the happy ever after. And I remember just feeling a shell of a woman, a shell of a person, and being like, do you know what's probably best if I'm not here? And then I didn't have a bean, I didn't have money. I was borrowing from people, and it was just a horrible feeling. And then I remember, you know, when you look in your handbags to try and find just something to make you feel that you're not a fucking failure. So I found like £2 or something in a handbag that I don't even use anymore. I was like, great, I can get a coffee. And it was actually £2.20. And I went to the local cafe, used their Wi-Fi, took my laptop. And I remember opening up my laptop and seeing a video I had done, reminding people how amazing they are. And I say on my videos, sometimes you're going to watch a video and it's going to come back to you. And that was that moment that I watched the video and I was like, that woman, I'm going to listen to her. And it was a real out-of-body experience. And so I listened to myself and I was like, this is not how the story ends. I'm not going to go down this road. This is not how the story ends. These dark thoughts, no. And I decided at that moment in time, I would do everything that I'd said before and I would implement it again. And so I did. I started to do live streams. I started to remind myself and others, you can be going through an absolute shit show, but you also have the ability to turn it around. And so I practiced what I preached. And I would show up live in this cafe, free Wi-Fi, not necessarily holding it together for anybody else but myself. And then that's when I had a client reach out from Australia who said, I want to work with you. And she paid £10,000 in full. And I flew to Australia and I was just like, here we go, this is not the end. And so that's a moment where the laptop changed my life. Back in the day, my brother and we've always been really close, and when we were little, he was obsessed with the world record books that used to come out every year. We'd sneak into each other's rooms, we'd get a torch and read it and be obsessed by it. And that to me has always been a childhood dream, to be featured in such a book and amongst such people. So I thought, I wonder how I could do it so that maybe other children could be inspired by what I've done. The reality of being able to even think about a world record, let alone do a world record, was when I saw Crystal on a call in a mastermind that we're in. And I saw a certificate behind her, which I'd recognized as a world record. And it was in that moment I knew I wanted to find out from her how to do that. And then I remember her turning around to me and saying, then you can do one too. No one has ever thought that expansive vision for me before. I'd never told a soul I wanted to do a world record. It wasn't even something I'd even told my closest friends and family. I trust that I meet souls for a reason, which is why I say it all the time, because I deeply do trust that. I knew it was a sign. I knew I would be stupid not to find out how I could do it. There was absolutely no doubt in my mind. I would literally regret it if I didn't. I'm not willing to live with regret, so I thought, fuck it, why not? Let's try. Originally, we were going to go to a place that's well known around world records. There was actually a fork in the road at that point, and we approached said company, and it was in that moment that we were realizing that it wasn't going as smoothly as we had both desired and actually anticipated it to be. There was constant hurdle after hurdle with the way we wanted to express it, who we wanted it to be involved, how it was going to look and be and feel like. It was just a resistance after resistance. And one of the things that my mum has always told me is, if you're having to force it, it's not right, something's not right. It's the same with anything, whether it's like trying to push a drawer in or try a relationship, trying a business. And there was a crossroads when we had to make a decision. Are we going to go with that company that was at that point the go-to company for that, the only company for that really? And I said no, I will not. And that's when I went all in on Crystal. It was a beautiful co-creation of exploration of two women who have incredibly high expectations, high levels of integrity, but also high performance. And those magical things all intertwined with women coming together and exploring what magnitude of impact we can have, not just as two women, but as a collective, was insanely important to me. One of the most pivotal parts of this world record adventure experience was definitely the invitation to come to Rome to film this. You know, immerse myself, literally in front of the arena, so it's not just metaphorical, When that invitation was presented, the means were not available. I mean financial, I mean time, I had other things that I was planning to do, other business commitments, but ultimately the finances. And so for me, I knew at that point, and I even said to Crystal, I'll be there. I have no idea how. But this is what it takes when you're a female entrepreneur, the tenacity, the courage, I could go down this road. It's easier to say no. It's easier to say it's not possible right now. It's easier to say, just do some ads, Crystal. Let's get some people involved, because things are, no. I was not willing to stop any of that. So I was not willing to not go to Rome. It was 24 hours. I had 24 hours and I had to be on a plane, or this very filming could not have happened. I was not willing to accept that. Just like I'm not willing to go down the road most go because it's easier, but you're actually then going back on your own ethics. You're then going back on your own values. Yeah, it takes more courage to stay committed to your values. One of the really interesting things upon that decision, that fork in the road, was a true realization that it had never, what we were trying to do at that point had never been done before in the history of the planet of the Earth. It was almost ludicrous because no one had ever thought of it. It hadn't even crossed their minds. I got angry. I was like, why hasn't this been done? Why haven't female entrepreneurs been represented? There's over 4 million of us. That's just online business owners, let alone the other female business owners that aren't online, but that are creating businesses, and powerfully so. And it was at that point I was like, we can't not do this. I'm in. And so I was ready to go all in to bring women to the forefront of being recognized and acknowledged for what they are doing behind the scenes, which has never been done before. We don't have a little side hobby. How's your little thing on the side? Fucking infuriates me. It's not little, opening up your laptop, facing your fears. Jog on. So I decided that let's represent these women. Let's, as a collective, represent.
So now what it's all about is posting your selfie, your photo that has never been shared before with you and your laptop, using the hashtag #LaptopWorldRecord.
And that was when we realized all the other blocks were blocks for a reason. All the other blocks where we wanted to bring people along with us. We wanted people to be recognized in the world record, not just I'm the forefront, I receive the certificate, well done me. You cannot do it alone. And that's really important in the whole premise of female entrepreneurship. You cannot do it alone. A major difference of an Extreme Excellence World Record is the compulsory charity component, and I chose to support Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish being part of this world record really hit my heart. A friend of mine, I still remember the moment that she called me and she said, I'm just gonna say this, H has leukemia. I think he was about 7 at the time. I mean, he was weak. He was a little boy and he was so strong before he was diagnosed with leukemia. They applied for a Wish Foundation trip and he was chosen to go. And it was just, it was absolutely priceless for a time that, something was so difficult and so unknown. To have those little moments of excitement and joy of him, like celebrating him and what he was going through.
And so I decided, with my values, to say everyone's going to be involved. Together we co-created the parameters. So not only the component of giving back, the charity component of Make-A-Wish Foundation, but also every single woman would be recognised. I say this all the time, I see you. I see you, I am with you, you're not alone. That's the movement of putting your hand up saying, I stand with her. And it could not have been done the way that traditionally it had been done. Launch morning will forever be ingrained in my heart. It was by far one of the most magical experiences.
I'm in charge of the tech here. Are we afraid?
We woke up, we met as a team, we decided to go for coffee. It was exciting, it was palpable, people started to hear about us, it was starting to get exciting. It was beautiful, there was a real buzz of activity and excitement, which was amazing.
Today is a world record day in the making. What we're doing is celebrating women across the globe.
So my vision was 100,000 women all getting behind the same thing, which was, I stand with her. I really wanted it to be a heartfelt soul, yes, I want to be involved in this. Every single touch point within this mission has been females, female-owned businesses, women that are on a mission, and that to me was a non-negotiable.
It's the 3-minute countdown.
The clock was striking 10 and sat outside in front of the Coliseum, really inviting women to get into the metaphorical arena with me, not knowing who would even give a shit, thinking people would but not knowing.
Hi everyone, how are you? I just thought I'd let you know we are a go right here. As you do, starting this world record near the Coliseum. I'm sat with the gorgeous Crystal here behind the scenes.
Team, we're working and
We're working, and there's Roberta capturing all.
The fourth strike of the bells, it was going crazy. Just photos, people didn't even need to be invited, they had scheduled, they had listened to what we said, they were participating. People I'd never even seen before in my life. That to me was when I realised this is what it was all about. This is what it's all about.
Words escape me somehow in terms of what it was actually like to be behind the scenes and seeing this first ever attempt at this type of world record across the world. It was fascinating. I was really intrigued by, I suppose, seeing how Stacey's community came together first, but then that kind of extended out and had that real beautiful ripple effect of amazing women across the world coming together and really supporting one another, which you don't see that every day.
I had a very clear number of women that I wanted to impact, and it was to be a minimum of 100,000 women to be impacted by this mission, this project. And for me, it was a non-negotiable that it would be done in an organic way. It would be done with integrity. It would be done with a real feeling of togetherness.
I've had tears, everyone. Tears have already flowed. It's amazing seeing all your entries coming in. It's so incredible, so incredible. So keep going, keep sharing, keep making me cry.
everyone is posting
Yes.
now. It's
Yes.
insane.
It's
Like straight out of the gates.
It's so incredible. So many people. Hi guys, hope you're all well.
And I was really proud, and I still am, that through my courage to be vulnerable, through my courage of come and join, there was nothing to fear. There's good women out there. There's wonderful women that do not feel the need to tear others down. They do not believe that the only way to do business is fear competition or dog eat dog or get a thicker skin. And it was that realization that such vulnerable photos of them with their children, with their dogs, with their business that they've worked so hard on in the background of their laptops. I know how proud it is to look at your logo and be like, I did that. And then to share that so millions can see it. Oh, we're unstoppable. And I felt it within my very fucking core. I say this, I literally fell in love with every single woman that said yes to this mission. Throughout all the uploads, what we started to see behind the scenes were all these women liking each other's posts, looking at the hashtags, commenting, you know, zhuzhing everyone up, like bring your friends, like come to this party. All these women coming into the event page and sharing who they are, showing up, being visible, wanting to reach out and connect with people. Like that right there is what is so different about this world record. And that to me is why it's never been done before.
I'm a Warawara Noongar woman and I'm participating in this World Challenge for 2 reasons. The first reason is because it's a bit of fun and I am a true believer of bringing fun and joy into life and into business and entrepreneurship. The second reason is because us as female entrepreneurs, we contribute so much into the world. And this is a fun, great way of us to actually put some faces to those people, to those female entrepreneurs who are actually contributing to the world in some of the most amazing, wonderful, beautiful ways.
It went above and beyond. And to be honest with you, I'm really not surprised because anything that is led with the heart and the intention by Stacey Sargison always exceeds any kind of expectation that I have.
It was wonderful to allow women to be themselves through doing something great that they were proud of. It gave them the strength to show up like never before and create now friendships and connections and business connections far beyond the standard norm of doing business.
We are now officially at the last hour of this movement, historical movement. The world is watching. The world is watching.
What I wanted to say is this is completely different to any project you've ever seen because we have not paid a cent to Facebook. We have not paid a cent to anyone that, like, popping the champagne, for real.
My word said it's not a ripple, it's a tidal fucking wave. You're right. We're changing little girls' lives, people, women's of all ages.
Just talk about me for a minute or 10.
Thank you so much.
Hit this goal to reach women on this particular world record.
That can never be repeated.
If people we've shared it before, that would really help because this is the final push. We don't know how many numbers we have. I'm going to have a late night counting it.
This is real, guys, you know, it's like...
Like, yeah, 2 minutes and 3%. Need a drum roll. Impacts. Over 250,000 people.
250,000?
Last hurrah, last hurrah.
That is the power of women.
My name is Stacey Sargison, and I'm a world record holder with hundreds of women in a record that can never be beaten.
Mamma mia.
Madonna mia. You're brilliant.
Thank you.
What a team.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing as well.
Almost like you've done this before.
I can't hear an echo.
Oh no, it's just because I can hear you twice, that's all.
Fucking hell.
Okay, I'm going to start letting people in, all right? Let's just move on.
It shocks people because you go absolutely nothing delightful, average or awful. Yeah, but it's neither. It's neither or, just absolutely the worst. Absolutely just nothing. Absolutely uninspiring.
What about opening the curtains? Closing or opening?
That's harder than it looks.
Smooth. Representation of how I feel.
Felt really emotional and shared that with us.
Not only fans, Stacey.
Dinner and a show. We might have to recreate some drama tomorrow if it's
Just get me to sit on a
easy.
fucking table with one hip. Not like that, Stacey. Relax. I've got one butt cheek on a table with fucking Mordred and Albert looking at me. With a smile on my face. Oh my god. No, I'll just imagine I'm talking to friends. Okay, so thank you.
Is that hard to imagine? Among friends, I'm safe. Secure.
Get some fresh egg. Get me out of here!
Help me, take me home. Somebody help us.